Now for more on the attacks in Paris, we're joined from Washington by CBS News national security analyst Juan Zarate. Juan, good morning.
Good morning.
What does American intelligence take away from this attack, Juan?
Well, you have a new adaptation. You have the ability of the Islamic State to project into a Western capital, to organize a very sophisticated attack, and to do so under the radar of some of the best intelligence services in the world. That's troubling news and certainly a difficult methodology that we're now witnessing. It also suggests that these terrorists are realizing they can hit strategic soft targets in ways that have significant impact. They don't have to hit the Eiffel Tower. They don't have to hit a government building. They can stage this kind of an attack and bring a major Western capital to the point of paralysis.
Why France? I mean, it's just 10 months since Hebdo happened, and 20 people were killed in that office, as well as the supermarket. Why has France become such a hot spot?
Vanita, keep in mind that France has been a long-standing target of Islamic terrorists, having suffered attacks in Paris in the 1990s. They continue to fight Islamic terrorists in North Africa, the Maghreb, in Syria. They've had pockets of radicalization among their own population. And in recent years, they've been very worried about the population of foreign fighters flowing into war zones and then coming back. And so France has always been a subject of much discussion among the jihadis and certainly a major Western target. That's why you've seen these attacks.
Juan, does this mean we essentially have to rewrite our plan book for defending against terrorism at this point?
Well, Anthony, the terrorism of 2015 is not the terrorism of 2001. There's no question about that. The geography is more diverse. The terrorists have more safe haven from which to plan. And they're getting better at the use of social media and perhaps even communication. You heard that from John Miller earlier in the broadcast. And so I think we do have to worry that this is a new methodology and certainly potentially facing a new war on terror, this time facing an Islamic State that is able to project itself into the West.
So do you look at this as a game-changing moment?
Absolutely, Vanita, for a couple of reasons. One, it is the first instance of the Islamic State projecting into the West, attacking a major Western capital. The Islamic State is no longer just a problem in Iraq and Syria. It is now a problem in the West. In addition, it now moves the battlefield. The battlefield is now global. This is a problem in the West and in places where the Islamic State is planting its flag around the world, to include the radicalized populations in places like Paris and even, God forbid, the United States.
Juan, al-Qaeda in its attack seemed to target symbolic locations, the World Trade Center, for example. Now we're looking at what appear at least to be random targets. I'm sure they were chosen, but a Cambodian restaurant, for example. How do you begin to defend against something like that?
This is incredibly difficult. It's hard to defend all soft targets, civilian targets where people will congregate, especially on a weekend evening or for a sports or entertainment venue. That's very difficult. And law enforcement has limited resources. They can't be all places at once. And certainly in a free society, you don't want to lock down the ability of citizens to enjoy their lives. And so this is a very difficult problem. It's also part of the strategy of these terrorist groups where they have decided they want to try to foment these attacks to get their followers, those that they've trained, to actually attack in place where they can, however they can. But this really is an organized, well-coordinated attack, and you've seen what can be done even if you hit strategic soft targets in a major capital like Paris.
You know, throughout the course of the morning, we have mentioned that New York is certainly a strong potential target at this point, even though there's no credible threat. As a lot of people wake up in major cities, they're going to see an increased police presence. Why is that happening right now?
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, the authorities don't know what they don't know. They're obviously always worried about potential threads to an attack like this, potential coordination of broader attacks. They're also worried about individuals who are already radicalized, who may be inspired to attack in the wake of something like this. But more importantly, I think what authorities in New York and elsewhere want to do is deter those who may be thinking about doing something, and certainly want to reassure the public that there is security and that they are safe. We shouldn't be terrorized by these groups or these individuals, but we need to be vigilant.
Juan Zarate in Washington this morning. Thank you.